The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. Chapter 11. In the aftermath of Karmoko Thandawe's speech, silence descends over the hall. My breath comes in short, ragged bursts, her words ringing in my ears. Win the war against the death shrieks, the forefront of Emperor's armies. My hands shake, and I clasp them together. Knowing the bargain I agreed to is one thing. Actually being here, seeing the death shrieks hitting underneath my feet, the monsters I will one day fight against, is another. I barely see the novices hefting the unconscious death shriek and returning it to its cage. Barely notice as Matron Nasra closes the floor beneath them, then bows deferentially to Karmoko's. Only when Karmoko Thandawe nods at us do I return the attention to the present. That's when I see something strange. The Karmoko is staring straight at me. A peculiar look in her eyes. It's almost as if she recognizes me. The expression is gone before I can blink, but I know my eyes weren't deceiving me. You have a familiar look about you, Matron Nasra's words ring in my head. As if my mind summoned her, the matron walks to the front of the hall and clasps her hands for attention. "All right, neophytes, move it along. Time for dinner," she bellows. I obey along with the rest of the girls, following her into the next hall, which is filled with long wooden tables and similar chairs. As I take a seat beside Britta and the others, my mind whirls, darting back to the symbol on Karmoko's eclipse pins, to the strange feeling I had when Karmoko Juan traced it with her fingers earlier. I mentally trace it again, imagining the shape of the shadowed sun gliding under my own fingertips, its edges softened by the years of daily use. A gasp explodes from my chest. I've felt that symbol before, touched it 1,000 times before I ever saw it on the seal White Hands gave me. It's the same symbol that's on my mother's necklace, the one I could never make out because it had become so worn, and it's everywhere I look now. On the archway above the door from which the assistants are emerging, on the steaming plates of food in hand in the centers of the table, even in the middle of the ceiling which soars high above us. I point up at it and the girls beside me. Do any of you know what this symbol is? All this time, I never once asked. Belcalis and Asha shake their heads, but Adwapa nods. It's the Umbra, the emblem of the shadows. My brow furrows, thoughts rushing faster. Mother had it on her necklace, wore it every day. And symbols like that, ones connected to the Emperor, can only be used with special permission. Even mistakenly carving one warrants a death sentence. Even the smallest child knows that. The ground tilts under my feet as a strange, impossible theory slithers into my mind. What if Mother was a shadow? It seems far-fetched, impossible even, but it would explain so many things. The reason why she was always so careful to remain at the periphery of the village, the fact that she moved all the way to Ifrit in the first place. Most women will never leave their home villages, and if they do, it's to move to the next village over, not to an entirely different province. This can explain Karmoko Thandawe's and Matron Nasra's odd looks, and why Mother had the tingling, even though she was human. Some of the village men back in Erfurt used to gossip that the Emperor collects strange people to serve him, people who defy the natural order but have been granted special dispensation by the priests. What if Mother was one of them? If she was, what does that make me? There have to be answers here somewhere. As the assistants place plates of herbed chicken and rice in front of us, Britta's eyes narrow. "You have a funny look on your face," she says, eating a piece of chicken with her hands, as is the tradition of the southern provinces. Mother used to do the same. Even though father wanted her to use utensils, she always said hands were good enough. The thought sends a twinge of sadness through me. It chases away the uncomfortable smell of chicken, which has sent my stomach twisting on itself. Ever since I was burned, I can't stomach the smell of roasted meat. It reminds me too much of my own. I take a breath, look into Britta's eyes. "I think my mother was a shadow," I whisper. "What?" "There's this necklace she always wore. Never went anywhere without it. It had the umbra on it." It sounds so strange saying this out loud. Silly even, but voicing my thoughts solidifies them. I know I'm right. I can just feel it. "And that awful matron said ye look familiar." Excitement lights up on Britta's face and she gasps, "What if she knew your mother? What if they trained together or something?" That's what I'm thinking. Britta's voice lowers to a whisper. "Does this explain how ye knew the death shrieks were down here?" She huddles over her plate of food so the others won't hear us talking. Does it? I turn the question over and over in my mind. "I don't know," I admit. "I just get feelings sometimes. And she did too." I glance at Britta, steeling myself for her reaction. Horror? Fear? But she just nods. "We have to get to that book then, the heraldry, the Karmoko talked about. If all the shadows are listed there, perhaps your mother is as well. Perhaps we can learn more about her." She looks so determined, so eager. Something loosens in my chest. Here, I was frightened she'd laugh at me or turn me away. I nod. And if she's not, at least I'll know for sure. Either way, it'll at least get our mind off things. All that talk about going on raids and being warriors, how can I be a warrior? Me, Britta of Golma, a cabbage farmer's daughter. I can't imagine it. None of us can, Bill Collis says beside her, startling me. I've been so absorbed in discussing Mother, I'd almost forgotten that she was sitting there, that all the other girls were as well. To my surprise, they haven't separated themselves by province, the way visitors to Earthfoot so often do, Northerners and Southerners particularly. Instead, they all lean in closer, nodding in agreement with her words. "I want to go home." This fearful whisper comes from Katya. "Conqueror? Warriors? Dying?" She turns to us, bald eyebrows drawing together like pale caterpillars. "I never asked for that. All I wanted to do was to get married, have children. I just want to go home. Get back to Ryan." "Ryan?" I blink. "You had a betrothed?" Katya nods. "When they came to take me, he ran after the wagon. He told me he'd wait no matter how long it took." She looks down at her newly gilded hands, her voice low with tears. "He's waiting for me. He's still wait." She stops abruptly, hiccuping back sobs, and Britta puts her arm around her. I watch, unsure of what to do. The moment my blood ran cold, everyone I knew abandoned me. Father left, the villagers turned against me, even Elfried left. 16 years of friendship gone, just like that. But Katya's betrothed stayed with her, stayed to fight for her. Even though he went against the village elders, the priests, I'm unable to fathom the idea of such loyalty from a man, from any person really. Are there truly people in this world like that? Could there be someone like that for me? I don't even know if it's possible, if someone, somewhere in this vast world will ever love someone like me, the unaging, unchanging offspring of demons. But I want to find them. Want to survive long enough to experience that kind of love, loyal, unflinching, steadfast. The kind of love that Mother gave me before she died. The kind of love that Katya and Britta seem to command so easily. and I don't have to do it alone. I glance at the other girls. Katya's eyes wild with fear, Britta's with uncertainty. If this was anywhere else, we wouldn't even speak to each other. But we're all in the same boat now. All of us faced years of pain, suffering, blood sisters. That's what Karmoko Thandawe called us, a word that gives me courage. I send a little prayer to Oyomo before I turn to the others. I don't know about you, I say, but I intend to survive long enough to leave this place. I've already had enough of dying. Katya's eyebrows knit together. Already had enough? Wait. Do you mean you've actually already died? 9 times, I whisper, the words like thorns in my mouth. Her eyes widen past their sockets. 9 times? As incredulity models her face, and the others turn to me with identical expressions of shock, I explain. I was subjected to the death mandate before I came. Only they couldn't find my final death. So they tried again and again. I cut myself off. I don't want to experience that again. I don't want more deaths, more pain. I want to have a life, a real one this time, a happy one. But to do so, I have to survive. We all do. I glance from one girl to the next, take a deep breath to summon my courage. Karmoko Thandawe said that we are blood sisters, so let's help each other. If we are to survive the next 20 years, we have to do so together, not just as allies, but as friends, family. I extend my hand, my heart lodged in my throat. Blood sisters? I ask. 1,000 thoughts barraging my mind. What if I'm asking too much? What if they turn away, scorn me the way everyone in the village did? What if a soft hand settles over mine? Blood sisters, Britta declares. When I look up, startled, she grins. Now and forever. But she already knew that, Deka. As I nod, relieved, Katya leans forward as well. Blood sisters, she whispers. Just met, but if you're going to join together, I want to be a part of it. I nod, returning her anxious smile. It's the twins' turn, and for once, they seem almost as serious as they look at each other and shrug. Might as well, they say to each other, placing their hands over ours. Blood sisters, they declare together, smiling at me. Warmth spreads over me, a glow of happiness. They're actually saying yes, all of them. As I grin, another hand settles unexpectedly on mine. Belcalis'. Blood sisters, she says, mouth tight as the others smile and embrace her. And just like that, we're bonded. Blood sisters. Happiness sparking inside me, I pick up a handful of rice and begin eating, careful to pick around the chicken bits. I have to build up my strength. Survival is hard work after all, and so will be finding the truth about Mother's past. And that's it for chapter 11. So listen, do me a favor. I love to read the comments on these, so let me know who's your favorite character so far. Is it Katya, the twins, Deka, Britta, or Belcalis? She seems kind of mean, but she seemed like she has a tragic story to tell, so just tell me what you think. All right? And you'll be getting chapter 12 tomorrow. You have a good one.